Beautiful people, welcome back to the Soul Speaks podcast, where the soul is speaking its mind. No more holding back, no more holding in. My yacht wouldn't like that. So, y'all, I am so happy to be in the month of December because I just feel like we are really clearing out everything that we need to. Like, there is this heavy energy of clearance. And that's funny that I say that because I did just do a little journal post on my Instagram. And that is so, let me read that because I had another journal entry from the first that I was going to read, but now I'm going to read that one. Hold on. Before I get into that, I just want to say that I just want to commend y'all for staying strong and for keeping God at the forefront of your mind. Because as difficult as it is to like deal with daily life here on Earth School, and then like making sure your priorities are straight, and then making sure that you have a good relationship with God, and making sure that you're not being like vulnerable to the attacks of the enemy. It does get difficult, and we do feel like we're not in alignment sometimes. And even though we are, maybe we don't hear God at the moment, or maybe we think that God is ignoring us, or maybe we just feel like us being still is failure. And I just want to say that it's really not. It's really not. Like, I've been training myself to think of whatever negative thing that is happening. I'm just like, okay, well, God is going to get me through this. And I have gratitude that God is allowing me to experience, like, let's say you're in a moment where you're in limbo, or you feel like you're being still, or you don't hear God. That would be the time where I am like, okay, well, God, I'm grateful to even be alive right now, because even though I may think that I don't hear you, there's signs, there's symbols, there's synchronicities, there's music, there are soul family that is, speaking to me, or there's videos that I see that is relating to my life at this present moment. So I'm always thanking God, even just for being alive, for breathing, for having eyesight, for being able to hear, for having a roof over my head, for having water, whatever it is. I'm just always showing gratitude, because I don't ever want to be ungrateful, because you may think life is so hard, and then you don't wake up in the next hour. You can be gone in the next 5 minutes. And so, as hard as it is, y'all, it is going to get better. And I feel like the more we show gratitude, the more that we feel that we are right where we are supposed to be. And as I said, that 333 popped up. Let me get to the first journal entry. This was dated on the 1st of this month. So December 12/1. I'm excited to be in the last month of the calendar year. We have the opportunity to really change our lives, implement better choices for ourselves, and live how we desire to, how God planned. If you haven't been able to find your true authentic voice, or embody an energy that you would love to live in every day, this is your chance now. We have less than 30 days to implement goals, mindsets, and to change our life for the better. You should be in a constant communication with God about what you desire, what you love, and what you would like to change. This is a great time to change anything you do not like right now. Starting today, starting within the hour. We truly have made it. Show immense gratitude. No matter how tough it has been within these last 11 months, you can actually say, you made it. You can honestly say to yourself that you have changed for the better, that you have more awareness within yourself and in the world, and that your relationship with God has increased and became stronger. Cheers to the end of a confusing and emotionally taxing year. Beauty inspiration, and clarity is waiting for us at the end of December. And I always kind of like talk to myself and God as in putting it into the universe. So I'm always like, well, thank you for this job, even though like I may have not had the job yet. Or, you know, thank you for the clarity about this situation and that situation, even though I don't have it yet. But that's, I don't know, that's always been the way that I've like talked to God. Like, even though I don't know the answers right now, thank you for giving me the answers. Thank you for showing me something that allows me to relax my mind, you know, things like that. And that was 7 days ago. So here we are, and I'm doing another journal entry today. And I say, 2022 has really shown us a lot. This has been a year of growth, transformation, and the energy of clearance. Clearance as in the removal of weights. There has been so much weighing us down that we can't even think, can't even process our emotions, and can't even enjoy the beauty that we have in our reality. We have less than 30 days now to continue to remove things that do not serve us, remove mindsets that hinder us, and allow ourselves to be flexible while we are attending Earth School. Me personally, I have gone through multiple transformations since January, and I realize that I have grown in each quarter of this year. Each quarter has brought different realizations, resurfaced different triggers and emotions, and ultimately helped me be my authentic self. This year has really shown us how to be authentic, learn from our mistakes, in quotes, and also how to be compassionate and nurturing towards ourselves, but also take responsibility and accountability. We are approaching a new calendar year, and it is time to start anew. This year has taught us how we need to show up for ourselves, creating a reality all starting with the mind, and the rest will follow. You have the opportunity to create the life that you deserve and desire, so do it divinely. And the song that I put on there was Good Life by Kanye. And so I just want to say, y'all, that, you know, we always say like, oh, people may have it worse off than us and things like that, but we are also ourselves, you know, so we don't have to diminish how we actually feel at the moment, okay? So continue to feel how you feel. Don't overthink it though. Continue to talk to God. However you talk to him. Continue to journal. Continue to set the goals for next year. But don't forget that you can start now. Whatever goal that is, whatever, like, start now. Just start now. It takes one step. It takes one sticky note. It takes one bullet point. Honestly. Create a vision board. Create a list, a physical list on paper of what goals do you want to accomplish in the next 3 months? What goals do you want to accomplish in the next 6 months? What goals do you want to accomplish in the next 9, 12, 15 months? And then show gratitude towards yourself because you want to do better. You made the list. You started to work out. You stopped smoking. You stopped drinking. You calmed your mind. You started doing yoga. Whatever it is, you started that project. Show gratitude towards the fact that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. Show gratitude towards the fact that you are actually stepping into your authentic self without any projections from others, without any deep wounding that you had that you suppressed. Show gratitude. You have to show gratitude in order to see it play out beautifully. Like, and I know that's hard because you're like, oh, well, I don't have any money right now and I'm depressed and this and that. Okay. God, I am grateful that you allowed me to go through this period because I am learning how to be financially responsible. Don't think of it as you're broke. Think of it as you're learning to be more financially responsible. Because maybe you'll do some research about how to save money and where to put what and interest rates. And listen, don't be so hard on yourself. There's a lot of things that we had to teach ourselves. There's a lot of things that we had to do. We had to father ourselves. We had to mother ourselves. And God isn't going to be, at your beck and call at all times. He's watching. Your ancestors are watching. The universe is watching, but they're also watching to see what you do. And if you're moving out of a grateful intention, out of a grateful mind, then things will go your way. I mean, the way that God wants it to be, that He desires it to be for His highest good, for your purpose. I pulled some cards and a few of them came out. The first one that came out was trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. My mentor, the Life-Matician on YouTube, and as I said, that 1111 popped up. She was saying that, God is pretty much like, go ahead. I'm stepping out of the way. Go ahead. If you don't like this, stand on it. I'm right here. I'm right here next to you. But you and God are making executive decisions together. You don't have to be codependent on God. That's one thing my mentor said, is that God doesn't want us to be codependent on Him. We've learned a lot of codependent traits since we've, grown up and come into the people that we are today, come into the embodying the spirits that we are today. We don't need to be codependent on God. We need to talk to God as a partner. Yes, God, the universe, our ancestors, they're running things. But we now, this year, after clearing out everything that we needed to and realize things that we needed to and cut off the people that we needed to and stop the habits and addictions that we had to stop because it was not benefiting our minds, our bodies, our souls. God, our ancestors, the universe are our partners. We can sit down and have a conversation and decide things. We have the authority now. If we don't like something, we don't like it. And we do something that we do like. We're moving into a space where it is more about feeling. How do we feel about it? If we feel we don't like this, if we feel we're being disrespected, we move ourselves. If we feel like this is a good thing to do, if we feel like, oh, I'm happy about this, then we show gratitude. We need to be able to show gratitude at all times. Show gratitude for even the times we didn't trust our intuition. Because we learned something, didn't we? Oh, I knew I shouldn't have did that, but what did you learn out of that? I knew I shouldn't have walked down that street. Why? Because the police down there? Because they shooting down there? Because, oh, it was an accident that way. I knew I should have turned down this block. Now we know that we need to be grateful for our inner voice, because if we don't listen to our inner voice, we can get into some trouble. The next card was empathy. A lot of us have, and I know the empathic and empathy word has been going around a lot, but in all actuality, some of us don't like it. The ones who identify as empaths, we don't really like how empathetic we are, because in the past we have been hurt, betrayed due to our empathy, and we allowed our emotions to overtake everything, and there was no logic. It was no balance between logic and our emotions. But you need to be grateful for that, because now, in this present moment, you see how being overly empathetic can get you caught up in something. We've also have learned that the people who are not empathetic have issues. And we shouldn't be pouring ourselves out to people who can't even pour into themselves. These are lessons that we need to be grateful for. God is waiting on us to be like, you know what? I'm grateful that I learned that lesson. Because now I can move into a state where I'm more secure with my emotions and I won't have to overpour with people. And I can also realize and recognize pink, red flags that people are waving to avoid that energy of being used, of being betrayed, of allowing narcissistic behaviors to be attached onto us. Speaking of attached onto us, relationships came out next. I am attached to those people who serve my highest good. How many of us released so many people this year? Family, friends, bosses, co-workers, the whole nine. Even personalities that we have created to keep ourselves safe or to front as if we're not emotional or we're not, you know. There is no time for us to be fronting about our emotions and how we feel towards people. If you love that person, say you love that person, because guess what? They could be gone tomorrow. You could be gone tomorrow. We now know that the relationships that we are building is based on vulnerability, based off love, based off like-mindedness, based off our relationships with God and the ancestors, based off a certain energy and frequency. If the frequency doesn't feel right, if the energy doesn't resonate anymore, it's time to go. Happiness came out next. This is a part of gratitude too, because the more you show gratitude to yourself and your surroundings and your environment, the better it gets. I am aware that being happy means I am on the right path. You are right where you are supposed to be. So if you aren't grateful for it, you will not see the lessons that you need to learn while you are in this exact moment. You have to sit sometimes and be still sometimes. My mentor got on me the other day because I was going through an emotional little spell. And I was like, man, I wish I was at work because, you know, I wouldn't feel this. And she said, but that's escaping. You're right where you need to be right now. Don't escape where you are right now. You have to be grateful for this moment. You may not be totally happy and cheery and, you know, high-fiving yourself about where you at right now. But at the same time, think about where you are. Think about where you have been. If you're upset about money right now, think about if you would have had the money you thought you would have had 6 months ago. Oh, I would have been richer 6 months ago if I would have got this job. But who did you have in your energy 6 months ago that would have drained you from being rich, from starting that business? You know what I mean? It's like we really have to have a higher perspective about where we are right now, currently. And we really do have to be grateful for it no matter what. No matter what. Change came out next. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Hasn't it been a lot of movement lately? Even we've moved people out the way. We moved jobs out the way. We moved addictions out the way. We've moved traumas out of the way. And the only way we were able to move traumas out of the way is because we had to actually allow them to come out. Sit in it. Why do I feel like this? When I'm around this person, why do I feel like this? When I hear this song, why do I feel like this? When I smoke, why do I feel like this? When I drink, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like I need to drink this much? Why do I feel like I need to smoke this much? Why do I feel like I need to have sex this much? Nothing can grow or evolve without movement. You had to move. You can't stay stuck in the same cycle and think that something is going to change. God is going to give you the same result and make it even worse for you if you don't. I just seen a TikTok and it was Medea, and it was like, people got married, and you were only supposed to be with them for a season, and then you end up getting married to them, and you wonder why God is making your life hell. Because you're staying stuck in something that you know you have no business being in. And that goes for anything, not just marriage, but technically marriage is a union. If you do it right, it's a union. My mentor just mentioned this on her podcast. Unity, union. You have a marriage with that weed if you don't. You have a toxic marriage with that weed if you smoke every day, and you need to smoke to eat, and you need to smoke to sleep, and you need to smoke to go to work. And you have a toxic union with sex if you're always having sex, or if you use your body to get things, through sex. You have a toxic union with your mind if you can't sit down and allow yourself to relax, or you feel like you need to multitask, or you don't want to feel your feelings. That's a toxic union with yourself. And in 2022, all of the toxicity has, from the inside, that has been in our DNA, that has been buried in our chakras, that has been buried in our blood, in our DNA, those have been released. We've shown more emotion this year than we have during COVID, than we have before COVID. We have really changed the way that we looked at ourselves, how we behave, how we talk, how we actually communicate. And it's funny, we're still in the energy of the full moon. The full moon was last night. The full moon in Gemini, which is communication, which is the planet Mercury. So we've changed the way we communicated towards people, ourselves, the way we communicate with God. And like I said, the way I communicate with God, I am always showing, I am grateful that you have showed me who wasn't for me and who was for me. I am grateful that you have led me towards people of God that can pour into me. I am grateful that I now have soul families and soul cousins, and I am able to speak my truth authentically. I am grateful that I can go to work every day. I am grateful that I can see the sunrise and the sunset. I am grateful that I have water. Not like, man, I wish I had some pop. I wish I had some Gatorade. I wish I had more money. I wish I didn't have to take the bus to work. I wish that I was in a different place. I can't stand this. I can't stand that. Okay, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? Are you grateful for the change? Because some of us who have actually been putting in the work have seen the change. Mind, body, and soul. The way they talk is different. The friends that they have are different. In my affirmations deck, all year, I was pulling my soul tribe is here. And I'm like, what soul tribe? What soul tribe? How about in September, the soul tribe magically appeared, and I'm in a soul family now. I have soul cousins now. Shit, my mentor is my soul cousin now. I'm locked in with them girls. I love them girls. But I was never like, when are the friends getting here? I can't stand the fact that I don't have no friends. And downplay it. No, I kept saying, well, I'm grateful for the soul tribe that is going to come to me when I'm energetically ready. When my heart is ready. Not when I was still mourning over the friends that betrayed me in 2021. I can't have any friends. I can't have any soul tribe and soul family come in if I'm still mourning them. If I'm still resenting them for how they treated me. You know? And perseverance came out. But it's in reverse. You do have to be grateful for what didn't work. You know why it didn't work, right? You weren't an energetic match. Your heart wasn't ready to receive. Your mind wasn't ready to receive. You weren't seeing things at a higher perspective. You wasn't thinking big. It could be anything. You wasn't listening to God. You wanted to follow your ego. It could be anything. You have to be grateful for what didn't work. Because you learned something from it, didn't you? Didn't you? I know I did. Anything that didn't work, I am so grateful it didn't work. But I'm also grateful for the experience. We're in Earth School. We're literally supposed to have a human experience. As tough as that may sound. But we do have to think of it from a higher perspective. Our purpose here is to experience and to learn and also to teach. Eventually, about what we've learned. I'm in a space right now where now I can let young people know that's younger than 20, hey, don't rush into marriage. Don't rush into having children. I appreciate where I am right now in my life. And I'm grateful for everything that I have experienced. But you have to think of it from a higher perspective. You have to learn yourself. You have to be disciplined with yourself. You have to have an amazing relationship with God before you start attaching yourself to other people. You have to realize who was with you, who needs to be with you for a season, and who needs to be with you for a lifetime. I pulled out in the African Goddesses deck, I pulled out 3 cards. The first card that came out was Divine Lineage. You don't even realize how God is protecting you. How your angels are protecting you. How your ancestors are protecting you. Mind, body, and soul. There has been so many people that have been like too vulnerable and they've been attacked. Yes, we have been attacked. But they're only attacking us to keep us weak so we don't understand and understand and overstand that we are God's people. That we have a legacy to grow and to build and to teach. People don't understand that life is so much bigger than what we're doing right now. We are literally creating legacies, foundations. The whole reason why 2021 was tough for us is because we tore down these lame ass, weak ass foundations that our parents, grandparents, and whoever have built for us. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the ancestors, they couldn't do certain things. That's why they became ancestors, to help us accomplish these things. But we know for a fact some of us cut off our mothers, our fathers. We're not even in contact with our siblings if they've been running in an energy that is negative, that has been fooling around with the devil. We are of divine lineage. We are creating the foundations that are going to stand until the end of time. They had their chance and they failed. And our ancestors and God and the angels are not letting that happen this time. That's why we've been broken down from the bottom to the top this year. This is what you have to be grateful for. We have now changed everything. We're about to change everything. Based on how we act at this very moment. Based on how we think in this very moment. Based on how we show up for ourselves in this very moment. We are God's people. We are God's children, and God has been informing us. The next card that came out is feeling safe. We have never felt safe with those people. That's why God removed them. That's why they got evicted. That's why they were divinely escorted. Get up out of here. You can't throw no tomatoes over here. God's child is on stage. We are safe now. We don't have to worry about that because now we can actually what? Trust our intuition. We can accept that our inner voice will always guide us correctly. We can trust that we are safe because we're seeing it from a higher perspective. Because we are open to seeing all the sides of the situation. We feel safe because we actually know that we are right where we are supposed to be. We feel safe because we have grown, we have moved, we've shaken the table a little bit. The next card that came out in this deck is soul forgiveness. We can actually accept the fact that we're learning. We're in school right now. And our soul has been able to release repressed, suppressed emotions. We have been able to figure out things about our health that had to do with, certain chakras. Certain illnesses come from chakras. Certain illnesses comes from certain houses in our charts. It's deeper than what we make it. It really is. Oh, my stomach hurt. It ain't just because you had some bad chicken wings. It's because there's something going on within the solar plexus. Our willpower, our confidence, the endurance. Like, we have learned so much this year. And if you haven't thought about how much you learned this year, just sit down and think about it. How much did you learn? How much had to go? What energies were present this year? What realizations have you had? What downloads did you get? What did God tell you in these last 11 months? It's important that you think about that, honestly, because you have to be grateful for where you are now and where you have came from. We are literally going through a wash. That has literally been, my mentor has been saying this constantly. She's been saying this for months. We're going through a wash. I think I said in one of my podcasts, we're going through a reset. We literally are going through a reset. Anything that has happened from now and from now until, before COVID, by 2023 is going to be gone. My mentor mentioned something about how she wanted to delete everything out of her phone, and that's crazy because I was thinking the same thing. There's a lot of pictures I got to get rid of because when I think about pictures that I've taken with friends, then I go back to that memory and I see also the energy that was over them, whether it was dark or not. How they treated me, this and this and that. We don't need to go down memory lane. We don't need to go down memory lane. We're creating new memories now. It's time for a new scrapbook. We can get rid of all those pictures. We can create new pictures. We can create new goals. We can create a new personality. I seen on TikTok. And it's really, it's trending a lot. She's really going viral for that video. And she was talking about how it is definitely okay to go through an identity switch. She was talking about how people in her family, like she wanted a better vocabulary, but she grew up in the hood. And when she starts to talk a certain way, people are like, oh, you're talking why? Or, oh, why are you talking like that? It's weird. Because I want to present myself a certain way. I don't want to talk ghetto. I don't want to present myself as ghetto. I don't see myself as ghetto. I don't see myself as from the hood. I see myself as somebody who came from the hood and has elevated themselves. She said she don't ever want to go back to the hood. To me, that, in a spiritual sense, to me, I don't want to go back to the energy of lack, of insecurity, of overpouring to people who can't even pour into themselves, who don't love themselves, or pouring into people who are jealous of me and I have no idea. I don't want to be around people that make my stomach churn, that make my heart beat fast. I don't want to deal with that. And I don't have to. I don't want to be around people that plays mental games so I can't trust my intuition. I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that. We have to forgive ourselves for allowing certain things to happen. We have to forgive ourselves for allowing people to treat us that way. My mentor does say, like, oh, forgiveness is a myth. I don't have to forgive you. I just have to forgive myself for allowing you to treat me like that. And that's an interesting way to think about it. That is very interesting. Because, once again, we're in Earth School, so we had to learn a lesson, right? It's not just about the academics, the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s. It's also about energy. It's also about communication. It's also about loyalty. And we have to forgive ourselves for allowing certain things to happen. But God also had to teach us something because we wasn't following our intuition in the first place. Exactly. That's why we have to be grateful for where we are now, because we have really saved ourselves from people who are going to show their ass later. Who've been showing their ass this whole time. Who choose to be delusional about certain things. We can forgive ourselves for being delusional as well. But we know now that we can see clearly now. The fog is gone. Stop playing. God is not about to allow us to stay in delusion forever. But that's why you have to show gratitude. I am so grateful that I am not in delusion anymore about friends, family, whatever. I am so grateful that I am not delusional. I am so grateful that I can forgive myself. I am so grateful that I can remove myself from energies and people and places and environments that do not serve me, that aren't for my highest good, that don't bring a good positive energy to me, that don't fill me up. We have to show gratitude, because that's the only way we're going to get better. That's the only way we're going to get better. That's the only way we'll see beauty in this life. That is the only way we'll be able to enjoy this Earth School experience. That is the only way that we will grow mind, body, and soul. That is the only way that we will ascend. It's us being grateful for where we are right now and where we have come from. And the way that I speak to God, the way we're going. I am grateful for the fact that my businesses are about to blow successfully and divinely. I am so grateful for the financial responsibility that is coming to me. I am so grateful that I have friends that I can trust and I can love dearly and that love me back. I am so grateful that I have outlets and I have fun and I have divine experiences with everyone I talk to. These are the things you need to say. Now on those 3 cards, the last deck that I pulled, the African Goddesses deck, Divine Lineage is number 6 and Feeling Safe is number 4, which is 10. Soul Forgiveness card is 28, which is 10. I looked up 1010. 1010 is unconditional love, abundance, purity, and enlightenment. What have you been enlightened in? Have you shown yourself unconditional love? What has been abundant in these last 11 months? Haven't you purified yourself? These are questions you need to ask yourself. You probably need to journal. I'm going to do it myself. Because honestly, even though it's been an emotionally taxing year, the tax return that we about to receive in 2023 about to be lit. For real. For real. And as I say that, it's 1, 2, 3 on the clock. I love it. The elevation is serious. The godly elevation, the spiritual elevation, we're ascending. It's serious. And be grateful for this elevation. Seriously. It's going to change your life the more you actually live, speak, and think gratitude. When I was writing this down initially, the 1010, and when I looked it up, it was 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4 is joy. Your hard work is paying off, and wisdom. What has paid off for you in the last 11 months? Cutting off those people, stopping those addictions. What has paid off for you? What have you learned? What wisdom have you acquired in this last 11 months? Just think about it. Because you may think like, oh, I went through so much and that, but what wisdom did you gain out of it? You have to be grateful for this stuff. Oh, I learned not to hold on to my emotions because it can affect my body in crazy ways. I learned that I don't have to close myself off and I can actually be my authentic self to people who will love me for being my authentic self. I learned that the more you hold yourself off, the further you push people away from you. I learned that when you see something the first time, stand on that. Don't ignore it, because it's going to keep popping up and it's going to pop up even worse. We have been able to communicate with God and ourselves more effectively during this full moon in Gemini. And this whole entire year, honestly. We have really been able to okay, what do I like? What don't I like? What do I deserve? What will I not tolerate? What are my wants, needs? What will I like to do in the next year? What would I like to do in the next 5 years? What legacy do I want to create? What do I love doing? What is a hobby that I love doing that can possibly turn into a business? It's like, it's mind-blowing. It's honestly mind-blowing, and it's beautiful because when you do think about it in a gratitude standpoint, you're ready for whatever. And I told myself that I was going to read this because I looked up 1, 2, 3, 4, angel number. Seeing the angel number 1, 2, 3, 4 is an indication that you're awakening and coming back to your true self. It interprets into releasing the extra baggage, whether it is mental or emotional, to make your life journey more amazing. Step up from the past and take the first step into the present moment. Trust in divine timing. You are capable of greatness. And the website is enlightenmentyou.com. Enlightenment, huh? We have been enlightened. God has been enlightening us because we've been so dim for the last couple of years. We've been in a fog. We've been in delusion. We're enlightened now. We see things from a way higher perspective now. We're moving out of love, regardless if they show us love or not. We're not taking anything personally. We're moving based on spirit and vibration and frequency, not all overactive emotions. It's amazing, right? Like, it really, when you show immense gratitude, there is nothing else you can do. There's nothing else you can do. You just have to let God surprise you. So I'm going to end it with this. I pulled some crystal cards. So this is like the energy, I guess, that we need to embody. I am not sure if I'm going to do another podcast before the year is up. So I just want to say Happy New Year to you. Happy calendar New Year to you. But I just want you guys to remember that showing gratitude is the best thing you can do. Even if you're in a tough circumstance right now, it's not going to be tough forever. It's really not. And the more you show gratitude, the more magical things can happen. So we have the crystal garnet. And the properties of that crystal is balance and purifying energy. What did I say? We've been purified. We have been. Our minds, our bodies, our souls. Everything has been purified. Even our relationships have been purified. We don't even have insecurity. We shouldn't think of them as insecurities. We should think of them as flaws, as my mentor would say. And the next crystal we have is red jasper. Health. One, we're purifying our health, which is amazing. Strength, courage, endurance, relaxation, healing, completion, and tranquility. We have completed this cycle of doubting ourselves, not trusting our intuition, overactive emotions, multitasking just to escape. We're done with that. I literally seen a TikTok and this lady was like, the metaphor was crazy wild. She said, okay, you know what it looks like when you're avoiding your emotions? It's like you going outside in the rain and you're just putting your hand up. And you're like, oh my God, you can't, you're not. Like, it's still raining. You're still going to feel the emotions. So stop trying to like put your hand up and acting like you don't want to deal with it right now. Even if you have an umbrella, you can still get wet. It's still going to rain. So just allow the rain to fall on you. Regardless if your hair is getting wet. Regardless if you're getting soaked. Allow it to pass because you don't know when the rain is going to stop. So stop trying to avoid the rain. Allow yourself to be purified. Free yourself of those repressed and suppressed emotions. Allow yourself to feel how you feel. Be grateful for those emotions. Be grateful for the circumstance. And then be grateful that you will be brought out of it in a divine way. I love y'all so much. I love y'all so much. And I really do want y'all to have a great holiday. And have a great start to your calendar year. Because 2023 is really going to be lit. It's really going to be lit the more you show gratitude right now. And the more you continue up with your gratitude practices. It's going to be lit. I love y'all. Stay hydrated.